David Conway with the Senior Exec Engineer with the Active Travel Programme Office.
Sorry, Chair, can't really hear David.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Can we hear him? Can you hear him now?
Yeah.
If you want to try speaking again, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, much better. Great.
Yeah, just going to go through the North Circle Interim Walking and Cycling Scheme here. It's in the agenda pack, the full presentation, but if I just flick down through it. So this is just an overview of the scheme to provide improved quality of service for cyclists, and it's to facilitate modal shift to more sustainable means. And this is the example of the type of segregation we're proposing on a section of the North Circular Road. And I'll just show you, this is the two locations this presentation is for. The one location is at Hanlon's Corner, and that interim scheme has been presented to the committee before, I understand. And the section, the longer section, is highlighted in blue there between Dorset Street Lower and Amiens Street. And just quickly show you some of the layout. So this is at Dorset Street Lower on the left there, and that's the Big Tree pub there in the top left corner. And it's just a segregated cycle track with car parking moved out. We're proposing to retain the majority of car parking along this stretch, but there will be a loss of some car parking due to the configuration and the improvement of visibility at junctions. You can see here with the tightening of the radius here in the corners. Again, all the accessible car parking spaces will be retained on this stretch, as well as the loading bays. And this is the next section from Belvedere Road to Russell Street. Again, it's the same principle, predominantly using the car parking to protect the cyclist. It's a minimum 1.75 metre wide cycle track, with a buffer of 0.75 between the car parking space and the cycle track to allow safe egress of a parked vehicle. And this is the approach then onto Summerhill, and that's the Summerhill North Circular Road junction. And then the next section is Portland Row. This section here, as you all know, is part of the Clontarf City Centre diversion route at the moment. So is envisaged, I suppose, that this element here will be carried out as a different phase to this overall section, just to facilitate that diversion route. But we have an interim design at the moment for it in any case. And just to let you know, the whole North Circular Road is over 5 kilometres. We have a constraint study, but this presentation is really only those two locations, Hanlon's Corner and Amiens Street. And that's the Hanlon's Corner one that we've seen before, that we're to progress consultation, including leaflet handouts to the local business and residents. And I suppose this is the next steps for the project, for the leaflet drop, and then a full consultation that will be carried out on the DCC's website, and then a report to be presented to yourselves, and hope to commence works at the end of this year. So,
thanks,
David.
David.
Any questions? Thank you, Chair.
Much appreciated. In terms of the Hanlon's Corner, what's the time frame for the delivery of the leaflets? Because we agreed that back in June or something. Yeah,
so we just received the road safety audit, and we're tweaking the latest designs and that in response to that. So we hope to get leaflets out in the next month or so.
Well, then before that leaflet goes out, can you circulate at least an update to the Central Area Committee? Because we had a special meeting about this in December, and it was a subject of another discussion, I think, back in March or later. So I think we need to get a look at that before it goes out for the consultation.
Yeah.
So I see a rake of hands raised there as well, so not only in here as well, but online. So we'll try and keep it to a minute if that's possible, folks, because it is 25 to 12. Janice, shoot.
Yeah, right. Thanks very much. You did touch on what I wanted to talk about in relation to the consultation letter, the leaflet that was going out about Hanlon's Corner, and we did specifically ask for a meeting to take place as well. We gave suggestions of places that the meeting could take place as well. So I want an update on that, please. And then I want also to be kept informed of where the leaflets are going. It just says at the end here, Hanlon's Corner. Like Hanlon's Corner, what you're talking about, where's the leaflets going? You'd have to be going into Drummondley, you'd have to be going into Ansley or Avondale, all of those places. So can we just have an update on exactly where this leaflet is going and be kept abreast of it at all times? Thank you, Chair.
I think that's why we'll have to get the briefing from the department before any consultation takes place. Emer?
Thanks, Ray. Yes, I'm all in support for a briefing, Chair. You said exactly what I wanted. Thank you.
Perfect. Niall?
Yeah, just want to check one on the leaflets. As you know, the leaflet drop in the Clontarf city centre around North Strand and Ballybuck was actually non-existent, which has caused a huge amount of problems. But I just want to check, just a simple question. Is there a traffic lane being taken away anywhere along this route, particularly in Portland Row? I can't really make out whether it's a 2-lane at the moment. Is that planned to go down to 1 lane with all the consequences of that? Thank you.
Thanks, Niall. Declan?
Just if we're providing these in future, can we have written descriptions of all the diagrams with a lot more detail? My question relates to, is there a bus stop on any of these roads? I'm not exactly sure where, and can you describe in detail how the bus stop and the cycle lane would interact?
Thanks. Joe?
Yeah, I think it makes sense if we're doing Clontarf to the city centre. Now we have a route, cycling, walking route, which is 5 kilometres all along the north side of the North Circular Road. So it is important to get it right. And we have 3 major areas, junctions here in Dorset Street, Namian Street, and in Hanlon's Corner. So I think it would be useful in the leaflet that will be distributed that residents get an idea of the totality of what has been proposed for the North Circular Road, as well as the specific proposals for Hanlon's Corner, Dorset Street, and for Amiens Street. So I'd like to see that done. And secondly, I'd like some evidence to show how it integrates with the NTA proposals, which, of course, as you see from Blanchardstown, for example, have now been found wanting. They haven't produced the proper information, so it's extended now into November. And, you know, we don't know how that's going to work out with our board now.
Thanks, Joe. Kat?
Well said, Joe.
Thanks, Chair. Two questions. The first is, we can see the schemes for cycling. I'm just wondering about the footpaths and footpath repair and quality enhancements along the North Circular Road. What is the update on those? Because this is about walking and cycling. And then the use of plastic bollards. Are they only going to be in places where parked cars don't provide protection, or are we going to see bollards along the inside of parked cars, which could be an issue for people getting out of passenger sides? Thanks.
Thanks, Kat. Darcy and Janet.
Hi. I was just wondering, is there a chance that the corner of the radii at the North Circular Road and the Annamoy Road can be reduced, and that, you know, level grade pedestrian crossing can actually be maintained, because it's quite good for calming traffic and lowering the speeds, if that's possible. And I know this is to do with more Hanlon's Corner, but I've had someone ask me, and some cyclists are concerned as to why the left-hand turn is being retained at the Summerhill and at North Circular Road Junction. They're saying that if you retain it, it leaves cyclists exposed, because there's vehicular traffic also turning onto Summerhill at the exact same time, and that if we didn't, there is an opportunity to give more space to pedestrians by building out the footpath there into the dedicated left-hand lane, and you would still have 2 vernacular lanes there. And as Carol had said, this is also about pedestrians and building up that walking infrastructure as well. Thanks.
Is that are you talking about the Charles Street Junction, Darcy?
I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure. I'll let my colleague Janet, she's more up to date in these things. I was just asked to ask the question.
No bother. Janet?
Yeah, maybe we'll work out the detail of that later. I probably wasn't paying enough attention to what Darcy was saying there.
Your colleague out to dry now.
Yeah. I was preparing my own very insightful comments. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some improvements here. I guess I have a few concerns at the moment. One of them is definitely around the junctions, that the junctions are remaining unprotected for the most part in this scheme. And it just, I guess I'm concerned that, like, the intervention here is not going to, like, ultimately all of our interventions, whatever they're trying to across the city for walking and cycling, are trying to trigger that behavioural change, which we desperately need to see as a city, which is more people feeling safe to cycle. And while the junctions remain unprotected, junctions are the primary conflict place in like where you are most at risk. And if you're going to leave junctions unprotected, my concern is you are not going to see a behavioural shift of any sort, and people are not going to, they're still going to be at risk where they're most at risk on the roads when they are cycling. So that is my main concern looking at this. Certainly around Summerhill, like that is currently a 4 to 5 lane, you know, highway basically through the inner city, which is not an appropriate use of a residential street. It's very dangerous for anyone trying to navigate that. And it is largely staying as a 4-lane highway there, which it certainly concerns me. It is like just continuing to kind of leave one of the primary problems in place there. And the median strip there, surely we could be taking some of that. Ray, sorry, no one else got a bell. I'm not too sure why I'm getting a bell now.
No, we have had the bell. It's been on and off. It's been on throughout the day.
Okay, I just didn't notice it when you were speaking.
It's not just for you, Janet.
For some reason, it doesn't seem to come up when you're speaking. I'm not too sure if there's a glitch there of some sort.
I speak the least.
The median strip, it would just occur to me that maybe it could be removed and to allow more space for the cycle lanes. And just, are the cycle lanes actually getting any wider? I'm not too sure. They look much wider to me, to my eye. And if they stay the same width, I think they remain quite hazardous to navigate. So that's my concern there. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet. I think that's everyone. Very, very briefly.
Sorry, Ray, just to note, I'm pretty sure I was just trying to say exactly what Janet was saying. And I put it in the chat, the exact location. So there you go.
Perfecto, thanking you. For myself, can we just make sure that the loading bays are fully aligned with the new parking bays? I think of Lombard Street is a classic example of that up there. In terms of, I think the point that I think Darcy was actually talking about Charles Street, the fact that you have it's like a motorway slipway to the left. And so if you're a pedestrian, following on what Kat was talking about, you're crossing 3 lanes of traffic to get across there. Thirdly, then, in terms of the junctions, and I'm particularly thinking of the likes of Portland Street and thinking the likes of Summer Street, even up to Rutland. Can we look at the junctions there, narrowing, a bit like we've done with North Great Georgia Street? You're narrowing the entrance to the street and raising the platform like we have along the North Circular Road, along Oxmantown Road. And then finally, at the junction there at the North Circular, at Summer Street, it looks like to me that the whole footpath has been removed. And is there a tree that's been removed there? Because there is as colleagues will be very much aware, in particular Christy, there's a memorial there that has developed, I should say. And it appears to me outside the electrical hardware shop that footpath has been removed between Rutland Place and Summer Street. Is that the case? And is the tree being removed? And there was a tree removed on the other side of the junction between Charles Street and Summer Street that is gone, and can that be replanted? So I don't want to take up or be accused of being taking up too much time. So David, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Just quickly go through. I thought I missed any of these. I can drop me an email and get back to you. But just in terms of the leaflet drop, yeah, as I said, we'll consult with the committee prior to issuing the leaflet drop, and we'll describe the areas where we plan to issue to, and we will be providing a wide area around Hanlon's Corner, not just the immediate area of Hanlon's Corner, but we'll clarify that again later on. And also Councillor Boylan raised the issue of the drop-in session. I think that was raised at a previous committee.
Yes.
We will be participating in that, and we will touch base with the committee to discuss maybe potential locations. Councillor Ring mentioned the leaflet drop area as well, so and also the traffic lane reduction. There's no reduction in traffic lanes per se along the route, still two-way traffic flow. Councillor, the simple English and I suppose plain English, I'd say, and that they will be provided in the consultation drawings, and more detailed descriptions will be provided. And the bus stops, there is a bus connect project for the orbital route on the North Circular Road. And we're in consultation with the NTA on that, and they're developing designs at the moment, and these will be included in public consultation. Councillor Costello mentioned the leaflet should include what is proposed overall, the overall length of the scheme. Yeah, there is a permanent project running parallel of this on the North Circular Road, and that is an earlier stage. We'll be looking at more detail in terms of permanent scheme, and that will be communicated in the leaflet drop, the status of that. And also in relation to how it integrates with Bus Connect's proposals. And there's also walking enhancements in terms of, there is some walking enhancements on Halland's Corner and at some of the junctions, and we will look at it. Also the Summer Street, Rutland Street, that will probably be some walking enhancements as well. And the plastic bollards, there'll be no plastic bollards at the car park locations, just where there's no car parking. And there's also obviously concerns with the Summerhill Junction left lane, and also Councillor Horner raised in terms of the concerns with junctions. And I suppose this is an interim scheme, so our scope doesn't include providing, I suppose, detailed protection to junctions, which can incorporate signalisation and large civil works, but we will endeavour to increase the safety of junctions as best we can, and the permanent scheme will deal with those in a more detailed, better, I suppose, than we can. And also,
the brass band.
Guys, can we mute the central area office? Sorry, David.
Sorry, and there was a loading phase at the Biocat, and we'll be aligned. As I said, I'll check that Lombard Street example you mentioned, and I said review Charles Street in terms of that. I know there is a very wide area there, with slip lanes, and the narrowed radius and the provided a platform. We review them, but again, it's an interim scheme, so some of that might fall outside our scope. And there's no changes to the section there. You mentioned Summer Street and other places. You're not regressing on the curb line. The curb lines to be retained.
Okay.
So, thank you very much,
Folks, there's a Seamus. Seamus coming in first.
Just briefly, how does the scheme link in with Bus Connects? Anywhere else along the Bus Connects road, maybe the Lansdowne or Hove, where DCC can go on the junctions, you have to refer to Bus Connects. This is a DCC scheme.
Can't really hear Seamus, sorry.
Seamus can't hear you.
Okay.
Can I just ask how this works alongside the Bus Connects projects? A lot of other proposals along the scheme are put back into them. So how does this work alongside that?
Yeah, so we have the initial core bus corridor plans, which provide what they're doing on their core, their route at the CVC, and this is an interim scheme, so we'll be, we will tie in with their schemes. We can adapt our schemes as an interim scheme, and we will be tying in to their initial plans that they have outlined. When they do change later on, we can adapt, but we're taking them into account in our designs. So along with the orbital bus route, which have a bigger impact on this scheme than the other part of their junctions, so we'll be tying in the junctions, but the core bus corridor route, the orbital route there, not the orbital route, and we are liaising with the Bus Connects team on that.
So any permanent scheme would have to tie in with Bus Connects? Yeah, any permanent scheme, Bus Connects is a few years down the road, so that will be, hopefully our scheme will be a permanent scheme then, and the timeline for permanent scheme is like to run kind of 2-3 years afterwards.
Okay. And to what extent is, let's say Halland's Corner now on the Blanchardstown route, to what extent is this coming into, the way that the NTA and Bus Connects has put up all those signs around about the place in relation to right turns, left turns and so on around the area. There is nothing up in relation to Halland's Corner. Yeah, well,
can we,
Bus Connects,
given the fact that they're going to come back to us and have a specific briefing next month on Halland's Corner?
In relation to that, in terms of what is going to Board Pinole at the present time, all the variations that are taking place in relation to right turns, left turns and so on, they are all highlighted in documentation that's done publicly by Bus Connects. But I don't see anything in relation to Halland's Corner out of the public domain. And we have now entered for the second time the consultation period for
Yeah.
on board and all that. So maybe this could be another problem in relation to it. We don't want to go into a third period of work and all going forward with this next.
Yes, what he proposed at Hanlon's Corner, my understanding is that that there was the design that we have here at the moment is reflects what's shown on their drawing, the curves and things like that. And I think they take out the left-hand side of Hanlon's Corner.
But it's not in public display. The others are in public display.
Oh, the detailed one, okay.
Yeah.
So the traffic management changes are detailed in the non-technical summary of Bus Connects.
Yeah.
But Joe's right, they're not necessarily detailed in terms of no left turn for Hammond's Corner, no right turn, that type of thing.
But this is all now on public display and there's posters put up around about the place in relation to all these changes that are going to be affected through a board plan if they get planning permission. So if this is missing and this is a major junction, that would be a serious loss and failure to the plan. So you'd want to check that out first and see it.
I think we'll, foot of this, I think we'll have to follow up then, the NTA on this point through the area committee and we'll report back.
Can we actually ask them separately to present what their proposal was, because there's fairly major changes proposed and there hasn't been consultation with councillors, so can we ask them in a future meeting to, before the consultation ends, never it's extended, that
We'll write to Hugh Cregan, the deputy CEO, and
They
ask
come back to
him
us.
the area committee.
Well, look, I've been on to Hugh Cregan about this thing, councillor, and the reply that I've got is that because it's gone out to Port Penal, they cannot intervene in the public, they cannot make a public presentation to anybody. So they're not going to engage.
Well, the fact now that it's been extended, that's beyond their control, so we should push that. We'll follow up anyway and see what happens.
Thanks, Chair.
David, thank you very much. And we'll have the Hanlon's Corner briefing then before, ideally probably next month, before any consultation begins. So thank you for that. Can I?
Sorry, could I just get an answer to, are the cycle lanes going to be wider than the advisory ones that are in place at the moment?
Oh, sorry, yes, so they are wide, they're minimum 1.75 with 2 meter widths approaching junctions as well, so they're considerably wide.
And the existing ones are what?
The existing ones are kind of 1.5, 1.3 basis, so they are wider.
So between 1.7.
And plus there's a buffer of 0.75, so the actual, just, the seat with the cycle area will be actually wider than 1.75, with the 0.75 buffer between cars as well, so.
Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Any more questions? Direct them directly by email to David.